Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. श्री श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद जी की जय। उपस्थित गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। I will just take a second. Okay, so we'll just recite the verse which we could not complete last time, I think 13.5. So I'll just share my screen. Okay, so please recite after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 13, which is entitled as Purusha, Prakriti, Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness. Text number 5. Rushibhir Bahuda Gitam. Please recite. Everybody seems to be on me. Yeah. Rushibhir Bahuda Gitam.
ऋषिभिर्बहुधा गीतम्
Chandobhir Vividhay Pruthak.
छन्दोभिर्विविधः पृथक्
Brahmasutra Padaschaiva.
ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव
Hetumadbhir Vinishchite.
हेतुमद्भिर्विनिश्चिते.
Yes, the word-to-word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. Translation. That knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is especially presented in the Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect. Purport. I think maybe we read purport last time, some portion. So I'll just read the relevant paragraphs. The word Chandobhi refers to various Vedic literatures. The Taittiriya Upanishad, for example, which is a branch of Yajurveda, describes nature, the living entity, and the supreme personality of Godhead. As stated before, Kshetra is the field of activities, and there are two kinds of Kshetrajna, the individual living entity and the supreme living entity. As stated in Taittiriya Upanishad 2.5, Brahmapucham, Brahmapucham Pratishtha, there is a manifestation of the Supreme Lord's energy known as Annamaya, dependence upon the food for existence. This is a materialistic realization of the Supreme. Then, in Pranamaya, after realizing the Supreme Absolute Truth in food, one can realize the Absolute Truth in the living symptoms or life forms. In the Jnanamaya, realization extends beyond the living symptoms to the point of thinking, feeling, and willing. Then there is a Brahman realization called Vijnanamaya, in which the living entity's mind and life symptoms are distinguished from the living entity himself. The next and the supreme stage is Anandamaya, realization of the all blissful nature. Thus, there are 5 stages of Brahman realization, which are called as Brahmapucham. Out of these, the first 3, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, involve the fields of activities of the living entities. Transcendental to all these fields of activities is the Supreme Lord, who is called Anandamaya. The Vedanta Sutra also describes the Supreme by saying Anandamayo Abhyasat. The Supreme Positive Godhead is by nature full of joy. To enjoy his transcendental bliss, he expands into Vijnanamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, and Annamaya. In the field of activities, the living entity is considered to be the enjoyer, and different from him is the Anandamaya. That means that if living entity decides to enjoy in dotaling himself with the Anandamaya, then he becomes perfect. This is the real picture of the Supreme Lord as the supreme knower of the field, the living entity as the subordinate knower, and the nature of the field of activities. One has to search for this truth in the Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra. It is mentioned here that the codes of Brahma Sutra are very nicely arranged according to cause and effect. Some of the sutras are aphorisms, are Navyad Ashrute 232, Naatma Shrute 2318, and Paratu Tachrute 2340. The first aphorism indicates the field of activities, the second indicates the living entity, and the third indicates the Supreme Lord, the Samam Bonam among all manifestations of various entities. So we'll recite prayers before going further. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Desha Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhescha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचाल पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदेवतानं परमानन्दं श्री चैतन्य। Hare Krishna. So, welcome back to our continuation of the study of the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13 to 15. So, last Saturday we started with chapter 13. We took an overview of last 6 chapters. Then we also studied first few verses, 4 5 verses, and now we'll begin with the rest. But before we do that, I just wanted to quickly revise. I want some of you to revise quickly whatever we discussed, whatever we read from Srila Prabhupada's purport, anything you remember, anything you understood. So you can kindly share with the whole class. Anybody would like to share anything we discussed from the last time? Kindly raise your hands. Otherwise, I need to choose devotees and ask them to share. Yes, Arun Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So, like in the last class, first we discussed the summary of first, like the first to 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and then you gave overview of 6 chapters. Like, as far as I remember, we discussed that the relation between 12th and 13th chapter, that Krishna gives guarantee in the 12th chapter, Bhavami na Chirat Partha. And then Krishna is giving the details in the upcoming chapters how to rise above matter, and then how 15.16, 17, and 18 summary of Vedas and Vedanta. So it is three shloka Gita. As we saw Chatushloki 10.8, 9, 10, 11. Similarly, we have three shloka Gita in 15th chapter. And then Krishna tells about for divine and demoniac qualities, and how to develop faith, how can we purify in 16th and 17th chapter respectively. And then at the 18th, like you were telling that like a good teacher, he is giving the summary again of the whole Bhagavad Gita. So then we started discussing the 13th chapter as such.
Okay, I think you should leave something to the other devotees also. Okay, very good. Thank you, Prabhuji. Arun Prabhu. Anybody else? Anybody else remembers anything from the verses when we started chapter number 13? What are we going to discuss in chapter number 13? How it started? What was the question by Arjuna? How Lord Sri Krishna starts answering? Oh, nobody remembers anything, really. So that means I have not explained you very nicely, or Srila Prabhupada is not explaining very nicely here, maybe. So what are the, how does the chapter starts? 13th chapter starts with what? I hope you are ready, even if you have not understood any discussion from the last time. Yes, Prasanna Gopal Prabhu.
Yes, Guruji. Just I was reading. Arjuna started asking questions about. He wants to know about the 6 things: Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetragya, Jnana, and Geyam. So
Okay.
there are these 6 topics. Arjuna wants to know about that. So the Prakriti is like material nature, five gross elements and 3 subtle elements. The Purusha, the enjoyer, is like Atma, the soul, and then Kshetram is the field, that is the body, and the Kshetragyam, the knower of that field. There are two persons who knows this body. One is like local knower, and the one is the global, that is Paramatma, and local is Atma. And the Jnanam is, that is knowledge about this whole of Prakriti and the relation between the Atma and Prakriti. And Gayam, the uh, object of knowledge, purpose of this knowledge, basically. So
Okay.
all these topics Arjuna wanted to know in detail.
Okay, okay, very nice. Thank you. So these are the 6 terms which are being explained very nicely. And these are the actually generally the topics of the Jnana section or Jnana Kanda also. Whatever, like also now we were reading in the 13.5 purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining from Taittiriya Upanishad and also the Vedanta Sutra aphorisms he was mentioning. So this is the whole topic of discussion in the Vedanta Sutra about the Atma, Paramatma or the Ishwar, Jiva, and Prakriti, and even in the Upanishads, etc., etc. These are the things which have been explained in detail. So, can anybody tell why did we spend so much of time understanding 13.3? We spent a considerable amount of time understanding verse 13.3. Why was it? Before we go into what did we discuss? Okay, tell us what is in
Hare
13 point. Yes, Arun Jaiswal Prabhuji, can you just be muted for a few minutes? I just want to see if anybody else also is involved or is able to grasp. I know you are able to. Okay, what is being discussed in 13.3? Tell us in plain words, in without referring to the Sanskrit words or terminologies. What is being stated in 13.3 in simple plain words? Kshetrajnam cha api mam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
yes, Bhakti Lila Mataji, yes.
Guruji, we discussed Ishvara, Jiva, and the field of the activities. We took the example of painter and painting and the Isar.
So what do we understand from that analogy in general point, without going to the specific of this refers to this, putting it one on one? What do we generally understand from that analogy, or what point Srila Prabhupada makes from that point? Anybody else can answer? Yes, Prasanna Gopal Prabhu.
Guruji, the same like it is the relation between the soul and the super soul or Paramatma. The soul knows about the body, local body, but Paramatma knows his own body and all other surrounding bodies. The example given in the purport is citizen knows his own house, but the king knows his house and the whole kingdom.
Okay, okay. Yes, correct. You mentioned what is being stated in the verse and the analogy of the farmer and the king, etc. The individual owner and the super owner, or the super knower and the individual knower. Correct. That's correct. So the farmer may know his own field, but farmer may own his own field, but the king is actually owner of all the fields in the particular kingdom, like that. That's correct. So I was asking about what Mataji said earlier about that analogy, the painter, the painting, and the easel. Srila Prabhupada says a very important point that these three, sometimes, although they may appear to be mixed up, but actually we should not confuse between them. These are the three separate entities, in the sense, the Ishvara, Jiv, and the Prakriti. We should not unnecessarily say, like, why we spend so much of time on this, because the impersonalist, because now we are discussing Jnana section. This is highly, very, very philosophical, and all the verses, many verses from the Gita which are in the Upanishadic style, or many verses from the Upanishads, or even Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra, the impersonalists, they actually misinterpret their meaning, and they try to equate that Jiva is equal to God or God is equal to Jiva. That is why Srila Prabhupada is giving such a big purport and is spending so much of time. So wherever something like this is happening, we should be very carefully noting. Even it will come further ahead also, wherever we'll discuss about the Gayam. What is the object of knowledge? So there, the first in the 13th verse of the 13th chapter, the description of the Brahma or the Jiva will be given, and 14 onwards till 19th verse, the description of the Ishvara or the Paramatma or the super soul is given. But sometimes these impersonalists or the Mayavadis, they mix up. oh, this is the description of the jiva, like they're saying, Kshetrajnam cha api mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. So that Kshetrajna which has been discussed in the second verse, that Kshetrajna I am, like that the God is saying or the Ishvara is saying. So Ishvara and jiva, they are saying, Aham Brahmasmi. We discuss so many things, the Mahavakyas of impersonalist. What is that? Tattvamasi, etc., etc. So this way they try to Sohamasmi, they try to equate Jiva to the God, but actually as per Srila Prabhupada and our Acharyas, Vaishnava Acharyas, this verse is not referring to the Jiva, this verse is referring to the superknower, or actually it is referring to the Krishna, and it is saying Kshetrajnam cha api mam vidhi. Cha api means actually and I am also the knower. What kind of knower? Vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. I am a knower, but there is a difference between individual knower and the super knower. So can somebody say in simply what are some of the differences? Individual knower and super knower, or the soul and the super soul. What is the differences in context of the third verse? One of the analogy Prabhuji already said about the farmer and the king. Any other points you would like to say, mention? No one? I think this is very difficult. Starting itself is very, very difficult. Yes, Arun Prabhu. Any one difference you would like to highlight?
And in this context of third verse, Prabhuji told another thing like the individual soul can control his activities, but the super soul or supreme soul, Krishna, can control everyone's activities.
Okay, there is a specific word about Rishikesha. In that context, we explain this, right? So can you
Yes, Prabhuji.
just refer to that? Rishikesh, what does it mean in this context?
Yes, like Prabhupada has specially used this word Rishikesh, and here the meaning is that that the senses, Krishna can control senses of everyone, but and you gave the example like how Arjun. So Arjun was bewildered on the battlefield, and like it has only one reason, that Krishna was controlling his senses as he was a pure devotee. So we were discussing to what degree Krishna will, Prabhupada says, to what degree Krishna will control, to the degree of one's devotion to Krishna. Another example we discussed of Parikshit Maharaj, that Parikshit Maharaj, he was a pure devotee, he cannot put snake, but then Lord is controlling and then making him to put snake on the body of Muni, Rishi. So that is how Krishna controls. Another is Sukdev Goswami, we were discussing, like he's
Okay.
you gave example second canto some words that he's using the word Rishikesha, that he prays that may Krishna or may Lord put the best words in my mouth so that I can speak in the best way and everyone can hear. So in this way, Krishna controls the senses of devotees and of course everyone to the degree they are surrendered to the Lord.
Okay, very nice. Yes, thank you. So did you refer to that Bhagavatam purport which I had pasted a link here? Did you get time
No,
to read?
brother.
Huh?
I asked for the link, but I don't remember. Like I think,
Oh, I gave you the link immediately that same day.
oh, is it? Actually, I missed it.
Oh, okay. You can go back to our group and just refer to that link, and then you can read that purport, very nice purport by Srila Prabhupada. I mean, all of you
Yes,
can read
brother.
that. Okay,
Yes,
yes,
brother.
fine. Yes, correct. So that's actually the thing, what we were saying about the difference. We know something about our own body. We don't know even everything about our own body, but Krishna knows about everything about our one body, and he knows everything about everyone's body. It is said in the dark Amavasya day, a black ant on a black rock, nobody sees, but Krishna sees. Why? Because Krishna is there in that ant's heart also, and Krishna is in that rock also. So Krishna will know us inside out. Krishna will know our past actions. Krishna knows our present actions. Krishna will know our intentions also, our desires, unfulfilled desires, our attitudes, our intentions. Everything he will know. Okay, so that's the difference between him knowing and we knowing. He knows us better than we know ourselves. That's something how we can say. He knows our past and our present and future also. So we are trying to be controllers, but we are very, very minute control, where Krishna is a supreme controller, like that. Fine. And of course, we are ignorant, we are being controlled, and we are fallible, where Krishna is omniscient, he knows everything, he is the supreme controller, he is the controller of the, we say, MSC. MSC means matter, spirit, and controller of both. So that's what Prabhupada writes in one of the purports. So he controls the matter, he controls the spirit also, like that. And he's infallible. His name is Achyuta. We are Chut, whereas he is Achyuta, like that. Okay. So that was about the 13.3. And in 13.4, we spoke about, there's Krishna describes this kshetra, this how it is being constituted, what are the changes are, how it is produced. And then he also talks about the kshetrajna, the knower of the field of activities, and what his influences are. With that much, and he's going to describe that in Tat Samasena. Tat Samasena means he's going to describe this in brief or in summary. Why? Because that is not the main discussion here. That has been elaborately described by many sages. Rushibhir Bahuda Gitam. And where it is described by many sages, Chandobhir Vividhay Pruthak. In various chandas, in various Vedic literatures, that is being described. And mainly Brahma Sutra Padaschaiva. There are various different aphorisms of the Brahma Sutra or the Vedanta Sutra. In that, it is very nicely described as Hetu Madbir Vinishchater. Hetu Madbir means as the cause and effect, in terms of what is the cause and what is the effect. In that terms, these things have been very nicely described. About whom? About the field, about the kshetra, and about the kshetrajna. About both the kshetrajna, super knower and individual knower, and also about the field, or the how the field is being constituted, or what are the various elements of which it is made up of. All these things have been mentioned. We also mentioned one small point while discussing this particular verse. Like if you see in the second verse, third verse also, Krishna is mentioning Kshetra Kshetrajna Yo Jnanam Yatta Jnanam Matam Mama. He's telling about my opinion. It is like that. And then in the fifth verse, he's saying many sages, he's giving actually the evidence of the Brahma Sutra and the Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Sutra, or the Chandobhir of the various Upanishads, the Chandas which are been there in the Vedic literatures. He's giving reference to that. Why is it like this? What is the significance of this particular point? We discussed that also. It's a very important point as far as Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission is concerned. So we should understand this, and we should implement this in our life also. What is the point there? Mukundapad Prabhuji, you were there last time? Oh, he's no more, gone. Anybody else? Yes, Arun Prabhu is there, always helping me. Very nice. Thank you. Somebody else? What is the need for Krishna to quote some sages or various sages about the Brahma Sutra, about the Upanishads, about the Chandas, etc.? Krishna can say, I am telling Baba, take it. I am the supreme knower. Just listen to what I say. Don't worry, don't go here and there. Just take it from me. He can say, yes, Prasanna Gopal Prabhu.
Yes, as I remember, you started telling this. I remember that you said that Krishna is appreciating the authority. Now, whatever earlier authorities, Acharyas has mentioned, he's re-emphasizing their importance rather than telling that, rather than Lord is telling about himself by his own side. So this can be done, but he mentioned about their importance. So you asked any other examples also in other cases. So we mentioned other examples. So since I mentioned Charitamrut, Krishna Swaraj Goswami also mentioning the or glorifying the other previous acharyas.
Yes. Yes, very nice. Okay, fine. Thank you. Correct. That is actually the point. So Krishna is telling us we should, whenever we speak, we should always speak authoritatively. That means we should always quote Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. On their authority, we should put like that. Like Srila Prabhupada, we gave the example. Many other examples also we gave from Bhagavatam also. But especially if you read any of the Srila Prabhupada books, you will always find he's quoting from the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, from Puranas, etc., etc. Sometimes he will quote directly the verse numbers, sometimes he may not quote. His sentences are paraphrasing of the various Vedic text only, like that. So that's how his books have become as it is, or they become so authoritative. It is not that, I think, oh, in my opinion. No, of course, when Krishna says it is my opinion, that is the highest opinion or that is the highest authority. But still he's saying that. But when a jiva says it is my opinion or I think, that has no value, because our thinking, our condition, our senses are not perfect. Therefore, we have those four defects, imperfect senses, and then getting illusion, cheating propensity, etc., etc., committing mistakes. So therefore, we should always refer to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra in our discussion, in our talks. That is a very, very important point we learn from this. And now we are coming, okay, let's go ahead now to today's discussion. We spent a considerable amount of time today. And Arun Prabhu, can you please just remind me of, where is he? Yes, if you can remind me of break, at 5 minutes break at 12:30, if in case I forget, so that, I will also chant my Gayatri and you can also take water or take a break from this heavy bombardment of philosophy from the last 6 chapters. Okay, you may be feeling bored or something like that. Okay, so now from this paragraph which we just read now there is, yeah, now there is important, this concept is being explained by Srila Prabhupada about these 5 stages of Brahman realization. It's called as Brahma Pucham. Now we'll discuss what is Brahma Pucham first, and then we'll also discuss why it is being discussed. What is the need for discussing Brahma Pucham here? So Prabhupada mentions in the second paragraph, Chandobi refers to the various Vedic literatures, the Taittiriya Upanishad. So he's quoting from Yajurveda, Taittiriya Upanishads. He's so specific, and he's talking about the 5 stages of Brahman realization. So the first stage, which is also called as the these 5 stages, is also called as the realization of the Brahman, or the realization of the absolute truth, or the realization of Krishna, we can say directly for devotees, in 5 stages. Because in the creation, there is nothing but energy of Lord Sri Krishna only in the various forms. And how a particular jiva realizes that energy in various stages, that is called as 5 stages of realization of the absolute truth. The first one is what? Annamaya. Annamaya means what? One is just realizing the Supreme Lord or the absolute truth only in the form of food. You can just see all the animals, all the jivas, in fact, everyone, all of us, we need the food, right? And animals, they don't know anything other than the food. Ahara nidra bhayamaitum. That's all they know. And similarly, if you see small children, what is their activity? Small children, even if they go to school or do here and there, what is their activity? They're eating. Eating is the main activity for them. Anything they will try to put into their mouth. That's all they know. Anything which is eatable or otherwise. Otherwise, they have no actually particular interest. So that's called as Annamaya. Realizing Krishna in the form of his energy as food. That's it. So these are also called as 5 koshas, are the coverings on the soul. So first layer of covering is called as Annamaya, food only. That's all they know. Now as they actually grow up, that's the next stage is Annamaya, then Pranamaya. Prana means referring to the pranavayu, just like the pranavayu is moving in and out, like that. So similarly, it is referring to the activities. The children, as they grow up, they want to play, they want to have toys, and they want to have playmates. And then that sometimes the mother, they have to, call them for food. The food is getting cold also, which is kept on the table, because they're so engrossed in playing. And the playmates, even in Krishna's, in 10th canto, it is described, Yashoda Maya has to call him again and again because he's so enjoying playing with the playmates. So they are engrossed in the activities. That's all they know. That's called as pranamaya. Or we can also say that somebody is aware of the living symptoms, as Prabhupada is saying. Like the animals, if somebody is trying to attack them, they will try to defend, they will try to safeguard themselves. That's actually the becoming aware of one's existence and trying to safeguard it. That's called as pranamaya, annamaya, pranamaya. That's the next level of realization of Krishna. And then the next one is Jnanamaya. Prabhupada mentions here Jnanamaya. Sometimes it is also called as Manomaya. One grows out of food, out of playing activities, physical activities, and then one goes to the mental platform and is doing thinking, feeling, willing, all this. So these are actually the symptoms of consciousness. Somebody who's alive, he's able to think and is able to have some feelings, good, bad, happy, sad, depressed, very enthusiastic, etc., etc. And then willing means based on their thinking, feeling, they are willing to perform certain actions like that. So Jnanamaya or the Manomaya means now many people you will find they not only as we go further layers, we continue to have the earlier layers. It is not that when we go to Manomaya, that means now we are not eating food, etc. like that. But we derive more pleasure in playing than in taking food. We derive more pleasures in scientific research or poetry, etc., etc., which is on the mental platform now. So that's the realization of Krishna's energy only. That's actually the Manomaya or the Jnanamaya. And then after this three stages, the next stage of Brahman realization is called as Vijnanamaya and then the Anandamaya. So Vijnanamaya means actually now he's grown beyond this Annamaya, Pranamaya and Manomaya, and he's able to identify himself other than the mind. Just like we are thinking I am this body, or many of the people they think I am this mind. Whatever I feel, whatever the mind is thinking, good, bad, he identifies with them. But when one goes beyond that, then it is thinking now is about the spiritual platform or the self-realization platform. That is called as Vijnanamaya, like that. And then the next stage is actually realizing the supreme absolute truth or realizing Sri Krishna as he is. That's called as Anandamaya. Anandamayo Abhyasat. So that's the nature of Krishna. He's the bliss personified, and that is our nature also. Being, the part and parcel of Krishna, we are also Anandamaya, and therefore the real perfection of life is, Srila Prabhupada says, to coming to this stage of Krishna consciousness or realizing God or realizing Krishna, our consciousness being aligned with Krishna, like that. So therefore these 5 stages of Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya, they have been described as the successive stages or progressive stages of realization of the Brahma or the Brahma Pucham. Okay, what is the connection of what is being discussed here? Why do you think this has been discussed here? The 5 stages of realization of Krishna. What is the connection with the topic which is under discussion here? Anybody is able to guess? It is a guess. Prabhupada also mentions that in the purport. Okay, maybe it's a little difficult for you. So it is like this. What is the topic under discussion? Kshetra and Kshetrajna, correct? Kshetra means the body and Kshetrajna is the knower, the 2 knowers, individual and the super soul, correct? Now, when we talk about the Annamaya and the Pranmaya, we are referring to the body only, the field of activity, Kshetra. It is in the 2 forms. One is a gross body and second is the subtle body. Subtle body means, mind, intelligence and false ego. So gross body means Annamaya and Pranamaya, they are referring to the gross body. And the Jnanamaya or the Manomaya Kosha refers to the subtle body. So these first three layers or the first 3 things, they are referring to the Kshetra, which is under the discussion. And Kshetrajna means Vijnanamaya, knowing the individual soul. And Anandamaya means knowing the super soul or knowing Krishna or the God, like that. So if somebody in their life, some human being is only in his entire life, it is quite possible he may remain only on these three platforms only: Annamay, Jnanamay, and Manomay. He may never able to go to the next platform. So therefore, he may remain on the Kshetra platform only, or only on the bodily platform. Only when we transcend that and goes to the Vijnanamaya, or the soul platform, and going further, Anandamaya, then only he achieves the perfection of life. Otherwise, Ahara Nidra Bhayamaitum Samanyametat Pashubi Narana Dharmo Hitesham Adhiko Vishesho Dharme Hina Pashubi Samana. So one will remain on the animal platform only, like that. Therefore, that is the connection of what is being discussed here, Kshetra and Kshetrajna, the two types of Kshetrajna. And here also, if you read Krishna book, there is a reference now about the 87th chapter, prayers by the personified Vedas. There, if you read, Srila Prabhupada explains there again this five, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, and Anandamaya. There he says, the Mayavadi philosophers, they actually consider this Anandamaya to be state of being merged in the Supreme. Again, they talk about merging soul and super soul, like that. So to them, Anandamaya means that the super soul and the individual soul become one. But the real fact is that the oneness does not mean merging into the Supreme and losing one's own individual existence. Merging into the spiritual existence is the living entity's realization of qualitative oneness with the Supreme Lord in his aspect of eternity and knowledge. But the actual Anandamaya blissful stage is attained when one is engaged in the devotional service. This is confirmed by Bhagavad Gita, Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. So there's a verse 18.54. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhutashu Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. So this is Brahma Bhuta, means that is the spiritual platform or realizing the soul. And Srila Prabhupada mentions realizing the soul is not all in all. I mean, knowing that I am the spirit soul is not all in all. Engaging the spirit soul in the service of the super soul is the actually next activity. And therefore it is said, Mad Bhakti Labate Param. After Brahma Bhuta platform, coming to the spirit, soul realization, when we engage the soul in the service of super soul or Krishna, then one attains to the pure devotional service. Mad Bhakti Labate Param. So this is the next stage, Anandamaya stage or perfectional stage, like that. And Prabhupada mentions lastly there, unless one comes to the Anandamaya stage, his breathing is like the breathing of a bellows in the blacksmith shop. His duration of life is like that of a tree and is no better than the lower animals like the camels, hogs, and dogs. So this is actually another series of verses in the second canto, third chapter, 17 onwards. If you read, there the sages of Naimisharanya, they're telling to Sudha Goswami about the futility of human life if it is not engaged in the devotional service. The eyes are just like the eyes on the peacock fan if they don't see the form of the Lord. I know somebody may be wearing golden bangles in the hands, but those hands, if they are not folded in front of the Lord, they are like the hands of a dead body only. If somebody is wearing a silk turban on his head, and that head, if this doesn't bow down in front of the Lord, then that is actually the burden on the head only. Like that, so many analogies are being given there. So Prabhupada is just paraphrasing those verses here and clarifying this Brahma Pucham, like that. Okay, fine. So because the topic is about the Brahma, the topic is about Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra, Prabhupada gives some nice comments on that. So we'll read those quotations from Srila Prabhupada. Somebody would like to read, please raise your hands. If nobody raises, I'll ask somebody to read then. Yes, Arun Jaiswal Prabhu, you can read the first one.
Bhagavad Gita 13.5 Brahma Sutra. Vedanta philosophy is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we discuss all these things from the Shastra, then we get really knowledge, and then we can actually act what is the perfection of life. Therefore, Krishna suggests Brahma Sutra Padesh Chaiva Hetu Madhir Vinishchitam. Try to understand Brahma Sutra Vedanta philosophy. Vedanta philosophy is explained Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the real commentary of Vedanta Sutra. We cannot understand Vedanta Sutra as it is because it is mentioned in quotes. Just like we have got business, Bentley's code, one small word, but they take that it has got a big sentence. Just like in business, they write Bentley's CIF. So CIF means it is the just like we say SCON. SCON means I means international, S means society, and K means Krishna, consciousness. And so Krishna and Con means consciousness.
1 second, huh? Where is this? Yeah. Are you able to see now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Uh,
As we have simplified, similarly, there are many things, codes. So in the Vedanta Sutra, means they are codes, but in each code there is ample meaning. So that is commentary. So Vedanta Sutra says, Janma Dasya Yatah, simply two words. Bhagavad explains. So similarly, Athato Brahma Jigyasa and Bhagavad has Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa. So same thing is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. First of all, the whole Vedic knowledge is summarized in Vedanta Sutra by Vyasadeva, and again he explains under the instruction of Narad, the Bhagavatam, Brahma Sutra. So Brahma Sutra Padashchaiva Hetu Madhve Vinishchitam. So one has to take lessons from Bhagavad, Brahma Sutra, Bhagavad Gita.
okay, fine. So Prabhupada is saying if you want to know more, now we need to read the Brahma Sutra, but rather than Brahma Sutra, which is a natural commentary, Srimad Bhagavatam, we can refer to that. That's the point which is being made here. Somebody else can read. Sundari Palika Mataji, can you please read?
Yes, Bhagavad Gita 13.5 Brahma Sutra. Vedanta philosophy is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Krishna has explicitly explained that Brahma Sutra Pedesh Chaiva Hetur Madbhir Hetu Madbhir Vinishchitam. The Brahma Sutra is called therefore Nyaya Prasthana with logic and reason. Hetu Madbhir, cause and effect, everything. Because people like to understand on the basis of philosophy and reasoning everything. Yes, that is required. Any understanding without philosophy, that is sentiment, and philosophy without religious conception is mental speculation. These two things are going on, not combined. All over the world, there are many so-called religious systems, but there is no philosophy. Therefore, the so-called religious system does not appeal to the modern educated person. They are giving up religion, either Christian, Muslim, Hindu. Simply formalities, rituals, they do not like. They want to know everything on the basis of philosophy. That is Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So this is a famous statement by Srila Prabhupada. Philosophy without religion is mental speculation, and religion without philosophy is fanaticism or simply sentimentalism, like that. So that's going on. So just some formalities, or do this, do that. Many times children, they ask their parents, why should we do this like this? The parents themselves, they don't know, they are not able to answer. So children are then disinterested. But here, in whatever we do is called what we do, why we do everything, there is a reasoning, and there's a logic, and there is a philosophy, and there is an explanation also. Okay, so now that's about what Krishna explained now about this many sages. They have explained these topics, and I'm just going to explain you in short. And now the next one, next 13.67, these verses, Lord Krishna will explain about what is the composition of this particular body, kshetra, because that was being talked in the earlier verses, 4th verse, right? Yacha. So the body is made up of these 24 elements, the kshetra, that it will be discussed. And 13.7 will talk about the qualities of the body, the qualities of the mind, and then what are the changes it happens, whatever the changes they take place, that will be described there by Lord Sri Krishna in 13.67. So we'll recite this together. Mahabhutani ahankaro buddhir avyaktamev cha indriyani dashekam cha pancachendriya gochara ichha dvesha sukham dukkham sangha chetana dhruti etat kshetram samasena savikaram udarutam. Please read. Somebody read the translation. Madhav Harinam Prabhu, can you please read the translation?
The five great elements, force, ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, and the mind, the five sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms, and convictions. All these are considered, in summary, to be the field of activities and its interactions.
Okay, thank you. So now what the body is made up of, that has been explained. So these 24 elements they are being explained. So Srila Prabhupada mentions in the first line, one who desires to know the 24 elements in detail along with their interactions should study the philosophy in more detail. In Bhagavad Gita, summary only is given. So if you want to read more also about these things, then you can go to study Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 5th chapter, or in the 3rd canto also again the same 5th chapter. These things, how Mahavishnu glances at the Pradhana and how he agitates that. He agitates that with the three modes, Kala, Karma, and the Jiva, etc. like that. From that, how the Ahankar comes, and then from Ahankar, how the further creation, the sense devatas, the mind, the 10 senses, intelligence, and the tanmatras, the object of the senses, and the senses, they come out. This entire creation, you will find no other scripture in the world will describe the creation in so detail that has been described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam, Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartoman. So that's our ultimate proof. Any doubt we have, we should refer to Srimad Bhagavatam. There is no topic which is not being discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's why Krishna is also again telling here that I'm just giving you in synopsis, in summary only. So what is being discussed here? Mahabhutani Ahankaro. So what is Mahabhutani refers to? Can somebody say quickly? You know all these 24 elements, right? So what is Mahabhutani? 5 gross elements. Yes, yes.
Panchamahabhut.
Panchamahabhuta. So can you name them one by one quickly?
Prithvi, Jala, Tej, Vayu, Akash.
Yes. Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, Kham. That's 7.4 Bhagavad Gita, right? And then the Ahankar. That's the 6th one. And then Buddhir. That is 7th one. Avyaktam evacha. What is Avyakta?
Pradhana.
That which is not manifested. The total material energy which is not in manifested form is called as Pradhana. And when Mahavishnu glances on it and it becomes agitated and gets manifested, it is called as
Mahattattva.
Mahattattva, correct, yes. Pradhana and then the Mahattattva. So here it is being referred, Avyaktam evacha means the 3, especially here in our context, the 3 modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, which are now not yet manifested. So 5 Mahabhutas, then the Ahankar 6th, Buddhi is the 7th, and 8th one is the 3 modes which are not yet manifested. That's 8 in the one line. Okay. Indriyani Dashekam cha. What is Indriyani Dashekam cha? How many Indriyas we have?
5 Jnanendriya, 5 Karmendriya.
Yes, 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, correct. And then Ekam cha, Dasha Ekam cha. Ekam cha means 10 senses, 5 working, 5 knowledge acquiring, and then 11th, which is the 11th verse? Sense, sorry.
Mind.
Yeah, the mind. Yes, yes, correct. Mamai Mausho Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Mana Shasthani Indriyani. So the mind is also referred as 6th sense, correct? So that's 5 working, 5 knowledge acquiring plus the mind. These are total 11 senses. So that's first line has 8 plus this 11, 19. And then 5, Pancha Chendriya Gochara. What is Pancha Chendriya Gochara? Pancha means 5, Indriya Gochara. Gochara means just like the cow goes on grazing, in the grazing grounds. So Indriyas go for grazing for the sense objects. There are 5 senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. And they have their particular sense objects after which they go for grazing. Or, just like for the eyes, there is a form. For the nose, there is a smell, like that. For the skin, there is a sense of touch. Like for ears, there is a sound. So these are called as tan matras or the sense objects. So how many of them? There are 5. So 8 in the first line, 11 in the half line of the second line. So that's 19 plus 5. That's about the 24 elements. So somebody else can group this 24 like 5, 5, 5, 5, like 4 times into 5. So 5 senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses, 5 gross elements, and then the 5 sense objects. That's 20. So what are the 3 subtle elements then? 20 plus 3, mind, intelligence, and false ego, ahankar. And the 24th is the avyakta, or the 3 modes combined together, which are not yet manifested. That's called as 24. So what about this 24? This field, the kshetra is made up of these 24 elements. That is what is being described here. Okay. And then in the next verse, Ichha dvesha sukham dukkham sanghata chetana dhruti etat kshetram samasena savikaram udarutam. So he is saying samasena again here. Etat kshetram. This is called as the field of activity or the body. And I'm describing it in short, samasena. And there are vikaras, or there are changes which they take place in the sanghat. Sanghat means actually that is the aggregate, the whole aggregate of all these things, the 24 elements plus these things, changes which are happening, they together called as actually the body, the aggregate. Ichha dvesha sukham dukkham. Ichha dvesha sukham dukkham means these are the changes which are happening in the mind or in the subtle body, you can say like that. So the desire, the hatred, the happiness, and the distress, all that is felt in actually where it is actually the changes happening in the mind only, like that. And then chetana dhruti. Chetana means the consciousness. Now consciousness is a symptom of, we say it is symptom of presence of the soul. Consciousness refers to the soul and doesn't refer to the body. But why it is included in the field of activities, in the kshetra or in the body? Because presently our consciousness is not purified. Our consciousness is only material consciousness only, correct? And therefore we identify with that, good, bad, happiness, distress. This is all on the mental platform only. So that's how, of course, the soul also has desire. Soul also has the ichha, etc. But when it goes to this, when it is in the spiritual world, it is entirely in pure form. But right now it is in the material consciousness. So therefore, although these things belong to, these are the qualities belonging to the soul, but now because they are material now in the current state, they are being referred to here as the instruments of the mind. Therefore, they are included in the subtle body and they are included in the kshetra or the body, which is being discussed here, like that. Okay. And then this savikaram means actually there are changes which are happening. So this is not a very exhaustive list. This is being described in summary. So some changes which are happening in the subtle body, they have been mentioned. But there are many, many more also. But etat kshetram samasena. In short, I'm telling you. And then Srila Prabhupada explains what are the other changes. And the body in the representation of all these factors. And there are changes of the body which are 6 in numbers. The body is born, it grows, it stays, it produces byproducts. Then it begins to decay, and at the last stage, it vanishes. Therefore, the field is a non-permanent material thing. However, the kshetrajna, the knower of the field, its proprietor is different. Therefore, these things are being discussed in connection with the body only. Okay, fine. So that's about the inquiry made by Arjuna in the first verse, and kshetra kshetrajna, they have been talked from 13.2 to 13.7. In the next section, now 13.8 to 19, Krishna will talk about the jnana and geyam. So we'll have a short break and then we'll come back. But before we go on break, anybody has any question on what we discussed so far? Anybody has any comments? Anybody would like to add anything or ask anything? Are you able to get this? Is this too fast, or this is too slow, or this is too philosophical? I mean, I can't help it, after your Bhakti section, 9 to 7 to 12 chapters, this you may feel little dry, but we need to study this so that, we get situated solidly in our bhakti, not just sentimentally, but based on philosophy. So this is bhakti unmukha gyan only, but maybe little difficult for us to understand. So therefore, I want to make it little interactive. And in the next, after the break, when we come back after 5 minutes, then we will study these 20 items of knowledge, 13.8 to 12, amanitvam, adamvitvam, ahimsa, shanti, rajavam. So I want to make it group. So how many devotees are there here now, including me? 12. Yes, Arun Prabhu, you want to say something?
I had a question, Ruji. Like we were discussing that this
Can I just
when
complete
some
what I was saying, and then I'll come back to your question?
yes, Ruji.
So yes, so we will make it interactive, and we'll divide 11 devotees into maybe four groups, or 3 into 4, like that. And each group will be given some items, and they have to study and come back and make short presentation in 1 or 2 minutes for each item, like this. So I will also know your understanding and etc. like that. And it will be little interactive also. Otherwise, you'll be just listening and feeling sleepy. Yes, Arun Prabhu, what's your question?
Like we were discussing that this different koshas, if someone is situated in higher course, then it means that he is like more conscious of the current course in which he is in. So as I was thinking that Annamaya, Pranamaya and Gyanmaya, this is looking something like that a person when he is growing up, he is getting evolved, and from Annamaya, like you gave example of small children, he is coming to Pranamaya, that is he is becoming more conscious of the living symptoms, and then Gyanmaya, thinking, feeling and willing. So this Gyan mein, like, does it only refer to the material knowledge that we are getting, and do we have to put effort then go from Gyan mein to Vigyan mein and Anand mein? As we were discussing, it belongs to Kshetragya. So like this was question. That first three is looking like it is coming up by age, and the other two has to be like we have to put effort to go on. Is it like that?
Yes, it is like that. But like you are saying, this is natural, right? Annamaya, Pranamaya, Vigyanamaya, Jnanamaya, they're natural, right? But somebody may not go beyond that unless he puts some efforts. That's your question, is it not?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. So it is both. It is our efforts plus Krishna's mercy also. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Vai, Bhakti Lata Bij. So sometimes I may not be putting my efforts, but I might have done some Agyata Sukruti. Agyata Sukruti means Bhakti Unmukh Sukruti. I might have helped devotees directly or indirectly. I may or may not remember. So Krishna will make an arrangement for devotees to come in my life. And as soon as they come into my life, then my devotional service starts. So it is my efforts maybe in the past, but then also to progress. Once I come to devotional service, it is not automatic. मेरा चलो 5 साल में फर्स्ट दीक्षा हो गया, 10 साल में सेकंड दीक्षा हो गया, अभी बस आगे जा रहा है गाड़ी. Just like in government services, just because of the more years of service you do, you go to senior position. No, it's not like that. You have to put an effort consciously also to progress. We'll discuss amanitum, adamvitam, ahimsa, shanti, arjavam. So it is not easy. So we have to acquire all these qualities and put an effort, conscious efforts for self-realization and God realization. Yes. So it is both. It is a combination of both. It is not that just by my putting efforts, I will realize Krishna. No. The 2 fingers in the Damodar Lila, right? We have to put our efforts, and we have to have Guru and Krishna's and devotees' mercy also. So it's a combine. Both ways we can understand.
Thank
Okay.
you, Prabhu.
Yeah. So shall we take a break now? It's 12:37, 12:38. So we'll come back in 5 minutes exactly, and then we'll resume. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jnanam, Jneyam, Prakriti and Purusha. So first 2 are over, Kshetra and Kshetrajna, the body and the knower of the bodies, right? Two knowers, super knower and individual knower. Now he'll talk about what is called as knowledge, Jnanam, in 13.8 to 12. These are very, very famous verses, these 5 verses. So there are 20 items of knowledge they are being described, or rather we can say it is the process of gaining knowledge that is being described. Amanitvam, adamvitvam, ahimsa, shantirajam, etc. etc. So what we will do now, maybe we can read first we can just discuss few things before we actually go into the breakout rooms. Yeah. So does these items, they sound like, we'll read first, we'll recite the verse and then we'll read the translation and then we'll discuss maybe. Yes, that's better, I think so. Okay, so we'll recite 13.8 to 12. Amanitvam adamvitvam ahimsa shantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham stairyam atma vinigraha. You're also reciting, no? I hope so. You're reciting along with me, either mute or unmute. Indriyartheshu vairagyam anahankar eva cha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam asaktir anabhishwanga putradara gruhadishu nityam cha samachittvatvam ishtanishtopi pattishu मयि चानन्य योगेन भक्तिर अव्यभिचारिणी विविक्त देश सेवित्वम अरतिर जन संसदि अध्यात्म ज्ञान नित्यत्वम तत्वज्ञानार्थ दर्शनम एतज्ज्ञानम इति प्रोक्तम अज्ञानम यदतो अन्यथा. So, Prasanna Gopal Prabhu, can you please read the translation?
Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, and the philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these are declared to be knowledge, and besides that, this whatever there may be is ignorance.
Okay. So, does this sounds like a item of knowledge or knowledge itself, or it sounds like qualities like, amanitvam, humility, adambitvam, pridelessness? These are the qualities, right? So why this is being talked about ajnanam? So Srila Prabhupada explains, if you read the purport, all these items are part of the process of knowledge, or we can say process of gaining knowledge. These are the means to gaining knowledge, etc. Like that he says. And also, if you read the purport, once again, I'll go to my Veda base here, advanced view. And where I am now. Okay, anyway, I'll read from the book here. Okay. Purport. This process of knowledge is sometimes misunderstood by men as being the interactions of the field of activity. But actually, this is the real process of knowledge. If one accepts this process, then the possibility of approaching the absolute truth exists. This is not the interaction of the 24 elements as described before. This is actually the means to get out of the 24 elements, out of the entanglement of those elements. The embodied soul is entrapped by the body, which is casing made of 24 elements, and the process of knowledge as described here is the means to get out of it. Of all the descriptions of the process of knowledge, the most important item, etc., etc. Yes, Maicha and Yogena. So this is not in the real sense. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says this is the means of gaining knowledge. That means humility. Humility is very much required to acquire the knowledge, the real knowledge, right? Without humility, you cannot gain knowledge, and without humility, you cannot retain the knowledge. Any example, Shastric example you can quote where humility is required for gaining knowledge? It's a very famous verse from the 4th chapter, 34 verse. What does it says?
तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन
Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So
परिप्रश्नेन
pranipat pariprashnen sevaya. So it's actually your humble attitude, then the inquiry and submission, inquiry, pariprashna, and the sevaya, service. These are the most 3 important components when we approach a spiritual master or when we are in the spiritual field, like that. So humility is the foundation. Without humility, it is not possible to gain knowledge. It is not possible to retain it. So even if you say Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Gavi Hasini, 5.18, if you see Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. So that Brahman is actually what? Not only having Vidya, but is also having Vinay. In our school days, we used to hear Subhashit, Vidya Vinayena Shobhate, like that. So in the Vedic culture, how can you know a person is knowledgeable? A person is knowledgeable not by just theoretical knowledge, bookish knowledge. A person is knowledgeable when he has a manifestation of all these qualities also. That is the symptom of presence of knowledge, or learned person also. So a learned person is always humble, like that. That is the way. So learned person means he will also be very clean, saucham, like that. So these are the means of gaining knowledge, and these are also the indications of presence of knowledge in a person, particular person, like that. That way also we can understand these 20 items of knowledge, or the process of gaining knowledge. A knowledgeable person means he is to be non-violence, non-violent also, like that. Amanit, ahimsa, shanti, rajam. He has to be tolerant only, tolerant also, like that. So Vedic concept of knowledge is not just theoretical, it is always jnana and vijnana. Theoretical plus realized knowledge. Realization means he will be developing all these qualities. Therefore, if you see in the purport, Srila Prabhupada will mention 5:18:12 from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the prayers of the demigods. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver guner tatra samasate sura. All the good qualities of the demigods, they are present in a person who is yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana, who has developed to the unalloyed devotional, or who has taken to the unalloyed devotional service of the Lord. And therefore here also Srila Prabhupada mentions that out of these 20 items of knowledge, the most important is what? Mahicha ananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini. By taking to the devotional service, especially unalloyed devotional service without any material motives, that will also develop all these knowledge, all these other items. That is the most important item. And if you take to that, in that process, in the process of progressing in our devotional service, we'll have to develop these qualities. And if we're progressing in our devotional service, it means these qualities will also be seen in that particular person. That is the meaning of these 20 items of knowledge, or this is the process of gaining knowledge, retaining knowledge, and getting out of the entanglement of the field or the matter, like that. Okay, fine. So now I think we're having very less time now, but anyway, we'll give it a try. So these 20 items, first of all, what I will do, I will put this into a chat here so that we know which is 19th item, which is 20th item, like this. So I am putting that here in the chat now. So this should be everyone in the meeting. Okay, I hope you are able to see those items. Oh, from 10 onwards, maybe it has become 1, 2, 3, 4 like that only. But I hope you are able to get that. 20 items. So what we have to do, Srila Prabhupada has given elaborate purport on this, each of these qualities or the items of knowledge or the process of knowledge. So we will divide our group now, 11 into, shall we make 3 groups or 4 groups? 4 groups mean only 3 persons, but it is better we can make it 4 persons. So maybe only 3 groups will make it. 3 into 4, 11. So we will do that 3 rooms. 4 persons will, 4 devotees will be in each breakout room. And maybe we can give how much time? 10 minutes is okay. So 20 items and 3 groups means each group how many items? You have to take 6 items. Correct? So 10 minutes is okay, or 12 minutes? Or you have no clue how much time you need? How many of you read actually these purports and come after reading this section of Bhagavad Gita? Please raise your hands physically also, no problem. Okay, fine.
Prabhuji, just a suggestion, like can we give two items to each devotee and then come back.
Oh, you don't want to mingle with devotees and discuss with them?
No, we can do it, but it will be difficult here offline.
Okay, maybe you have not done it before, so maybe you don't want to do it. That's okay. I have no problem. So if you want to take two items, that is also okay. So who would like to take first 2 items?
Anyways, everyone has to take, so you can divide two items everyone.
Okay, but then I have to also give you some time to go through the
Yeah.
items, right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
fine. So two items means how much time we should give? 1 paragraph, 2 paragraphs. Maybe 5 minutes, 5 to
Yes.
7 minutes.
Yes.
Yes, 5 to 7 minutes. Then when you come back after 7 minutes, what you have to do is you have to present. Let's say Prasanna Gopal Prabhu, I give first 2 items. Amanitvam, Adambitvam. So he has to read from the purport, correct? What it talks, what Srila Prabhupada explains about Amanitvam, Adambitvam, first 2 items. Then when he comes back after 7 minutes, everybody has to listen to him and he will give his understanding about what does it mean, what is the definition or what is the meaning or understanding of Amanitvam, Adambitvam. And additionally, if we can give what are the challenges in gaining Amanitvam, Adambitvam, or gaining this process of knowledge or these qualities, and how we can overcome it. If we can mention, or what is the solution for that? If we can mention it in short. If it is too challenging, leave it, no problem. But at least what Prabhupada is explaining definition, that much at least you have to state. Is this okay? Is this clear exercise? Okay. So it means you want to do it individually or independently. Okay. So
No, Prabhuji, if you Prabhuji, that was suggestion. If you want to go with that, okay, with that also.
how many devotees would like to make it in group and discuss these four items together of 3 or 4 devotees, and any one of those devotees, 4 devotees or 3 devotees, they can make a presentation of 1 minute or 2 minutes, whatever time permits. We may not be able to complete the exercise, it looks like, but if you are able to, then it's good. So how many would like to go for the breakout rooms? Please raise your hands. Say something. Only one Mataji is raising her hand, I think so. Okay, so I will divide. So the first one on my screen is Deepali Mataji. Can you please take first 2 items? Amanitvam, Adambitvam. Yes, yes, start reading that. Anuradha Mataji, next 2. Can you take?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Ahimsa and Shantir. Okay. Arjavam, Ahimsa, Shantir, Arjavam, Acharya, Arjavam and Acharya Upasanam, Sundari Palika Mataji. Simplicity and approaching a bona fide spiritual master. Isha Mataji, Shaucham and Atma Vinigraha. That means cleanliness and steadiness, 7 and 8. What is the next one? Indriyartheshu Vairagyam Ana Ahankara Evacha. That's for Madhav Harinam Prabhuji. Are you there? Okay. Nine and 10. Self-control and renunciation of the objects of sense gratification. Atma Vinigraha and Indriyartheshu Vairagyam. Are you clear, Prabhu?
Yes. Indriyartheshu Vairagyam and Anahankar.
No. Earlier one. Atma Vinigraha.
Okay. Atma Vinigraha and Indriyartheshu Vairagyam.
Yes, correct. And next is Prerna Mataji. You can talk about this Anahankara Evacha and Janma Mrityu Jaravyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. Means absence of false ego and the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age and disease. Are you clear, Prerna Mataji? Okay. Prasanna Gopal Prabhu, can you take the next 2 ones? That is the detachment and freedom from entanglement with wife, children, home and the rest.
Okay.
Asaktir Anabhishwanga Putradara Gruhadishu. Yeah. And then Bhakti Leela Mataji, is she there or not? Are you there, Mataji? Otherwise,
Prabhuji, here internet issue is here.
okay. But are you able to
But
participate?
I will try, Prabhuji.
Okay. So you can take these two next ones. Even mindedness among pleasant and unpleasant events, and constant and unalloyed devotion to me. Nityam cha samachittatvam ishtopi pattishu mai cha ananyogena bhaktir avyabhicharini. This 15 and 16 for you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Arun Jaiswal Prabhu. Next one. Vivikta Desha Sevitvam Aratir Jana Samsadi, aspiring to live in a solitary place and detachment from general mass of people. Okay. And Aruna Pal, Mataji or Prabhuji, मुझे कुछ दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है. Mataji is there? Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Will you take the next one item, accepting the importance of self-realization, Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam?
Sure.
Only
sir.
one item, yeah.
Yes, yes,
And
Prabhu.
Mukundapad Prabhuji, if you are there, the last one, Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam,
Okay, Prabhuji.
philosophical search for the absolute truth. Yes. Please start. Your time starts now for next 5 to 7 minutes. And come back and make a presentation of what you understood by this quality. And if possible, what are the challenges in possessing that particular quality or item, and how we can overcome those challenges. What is the solution? These 3 parts are you have to present. But first part is compulsory. Anyway.
Sorry, Prabhu, can you repeat the 3 parts, Prabhu?
You have to talk about what is the understanding of that particular item, the definition or whatever Prabhupada explains. And then what are the challenges in gaining that particular item of knowledge, and how we can overcome those challenges, or what is the solution. Additionally, you can also mention, if you observe this quality in Srila Prabhupada, any of the pastimes you would like to mention, or how Srila Prabhupada displayed his humility, how Prabhupada displayed that particular item, that is also okay. So whichever way it is possible for you. We can continue. Deepali Madi, you are ready now? Your first two items.
Yes, sir. Actually, I couldn't find much information about the second topic, that is pridelessness.
Okay,
But
okay.
I can explain it in my
Okay,
own
no problem. Whatever difficulties any of you face, we will try to resolve it here. I will try to help you, and also others are also there. And others can also ask questions on that particular item, and we can try to find the answers also. So you can go ahead, Mataji, and please present to us the first two items. Please, you can start
Okay.
now.
Yeah. So the first item is humility. Basically, all these items are the parts of knowledge, and the first of them is humility. Now, Srila Prabhupada says here that if one accepts devotional service, these all parts automatically get developed in that person. So now, what is meant by humility? Humility means that one should not be anxious to have satisfaction of being honored by others. That is the humility. Means whatever we are doing, that should be without any self motive or without any intention. That should be selfless and without any expectation of honor, prestige, or fame, name, fame. That is. Now, in material world, this getting honored is a very basic thing, that everybody wants to get honored for little things, that if I do something, I should get honored for that. But one who is perfect in knowledge, he knows that I am not this body, I am a soul, and the honor and dishonor are regarded to the body. So that doesn't mean anything for me. And he is very focused on the soul, not on body. Yes. Uh, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that there are many people without any knowledge. They get entered into a group and pose themselves as the leader of that group of any religion. But without knowledge, they do this just for the advertisement purpose. So we should not do that. Yeah.
So what is
And-
that item? What is this now you're describing? What is that you just described now in last 1 or 2 lines? That is actually adambitvam.
Yeah,
That is actually adambitvam. So humility is amanitvam, adambitvam. Damba means to pose oneself as very religious man, whereas you're not following religion, but you're posing yourself as a religious man. Like in India also we have this Garba and Ganesh Chaturthi, so many things that happen on the name of these things. But that actually not the religious, right? Ganesh is not pleased or whatever like that. So they pose themselves as religious. So one should not be like that. That is adambitvam. So that's what you're referring now. That's what Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport there, that you were saying you're not able to find. One should not be hankering after this material deception. People are very anxious to be famous for their religion, and consequently, sometimes it is found that without understanding the principle of religion, one enters into some group which is not actually following religious principles, and then he wants to advertise himself as religious mentor. That is dambha. So we should not be like that. That is adambitvam. So is this clear to you? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. And also, if you see the end of the purport, Prabhupada it starts with humility and he ends also with the humility.
Yes.
Yeah. So can you please read that? It is clearly stated that without humility, did you get that line in the last few lines? 5, 6 lines from the end of the purport?
Yes. Just one.
Or, even the paragraph, last paragraph itself you can read, beginning from practicing humility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please read.
Yeah. Beginning from practicing humility up to the point of realization of the supreme truth, the absolute personality of Godhead, this process is just like a staircase beginning from the ground floor and going up to the top floor. Now on this staircase, there are so many people who have reached the first floor, the second or the third floor, etc. But unless one reaches the top floor, which is the understanding of Krishna, he is at a lower stage of knowledge. If anyone wants to compete with God and at the same time make advancement in spiritual knowledge, he will be frustrated. It is clearly stated that without humility, understanding is not truly possible. To think oneself God is most puffed up. Although the living entity is always being kicked by the stringent laws of material nature, he still thinks, I am God because of ignorance. The beginning of knowledge, therefore, is amanitva, humility. One should be humble and know that he is subordinate to the Supreme Lord. Due to rebellion against the Supreme Lord, one becomes subordinate to the material nature. One must know and be convinced of this truth.
Okay, so nicely stated by Srila Prabhupada about the humility. What is humility? So know that I'm tiny, I'm just 1/10,000 the tip of the hair, and God is actually very, very great. So these opposite qualities, God is very great and I'm very small. If you have this attitude, then these things can attract. But if you have a challenging attitude, no humility, then actually it's very, very difficult to make any progress like that. Okay, very nice. Thank you. Any questions anybody has on this particular 2 aspects? Amanitvam, adambitvam. Anybody would like to ask or has questions? No questions, then you can go to the next item. I don't remember now. The screen, the orientation has changed. People have changed from here to there. So who was the next one? Second, please raise your hand. Who was the devotee? Next 2 items, third and fourth item. Ahimsa Shantir.
I think it's Anuradha Mataji, Prabhuji.
Anuradha Mataji, are you there? Or she's frozen, I think. So next, can we go to the next two items? Then maybe she can come in. Are you there? Anuradha Mataji?
She most of the times has network problem. Maybe this
Okay.
time also.
Jan.
Okay. I didn't know this. Hare Krishna.
Um, yeah, Hare Krishna. My
Mataji,
point was non-violence and tolerance.
I think you have a network issue. Can we
Can
go?
you hear me?
Hardly, Mataji. Yes, you try now. One more time you can try.
Can you hear me?
Mataji, you leave it now. Your voice is breaking, and also I think you have network issues.
Prabhuji, can you hear me?
So we'll come back to next time. Then maybe we can go to the next devotee. Who was that next devotee? Item number 5 and 6.
Prabhuji, that's me.
Yes. What are your items? Please tell us and go ahead.
Simplicity and serving the bona fide guru. Serving a
Okay.
bona fide guru.
Yes, please go ahead.
So first one is simplicity. And in the translation in purport, Prabhupada mentioned that simplicity means that one has to be straightforward and diplomatic. And Prabhupada himself follow it
Or
in many
it has to be diplomatic or
non-diplomatic, sorry.
non-diplomatic.
Not diplomatic.
Okay.
It's non-diplomatic. And Prabhupada himself follow this quality. Like I have heard him in many of the interviews and in many of his lectures also, when it is his turn to speak about Mayavadis and bogus philosophy, he was very straightforward about it, and he never misguided his disciple that you should go here and there. And even when they were staying in Vrindavan, he was very strict about in attending Bhagavatam classes and everything. So yes, Prabhupada show this quality of straightforward and being non-diplomatic. And the second quality, which I was tasked to present about, is to serve your spiritual master. And here in purport, Prabhupada says that this is an essential element, because one why it is an essential element, because one should approach their spiritual master with humility, offer their services and follow his instruction and seek his blessing. And further, there is an hidden element that Prabhupada is telling us to take association of the spiritual master also. Then the disciple will get advancement, which is with the sadhu sangha, disciple will get the advancement. And Prabhupada himself, not it is not about the physical association, more about Vani association. Prabhupada only met his spiritual master for like 6 times only, but he served his spiritual master Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur for his entire life through his Vani. So that much understanding I get.
Oh, very nice. Okay, fine. Very good. So you refer to a lot of these items with reference to Srila Prabhupada. Yes. And if you read Nectar of Devotion also, you'll find there are 64 items of sadhana bhakti. And in those 64 items, the first 4 or 5 items are related to Acharyopasanam, taking the shelter of spiritual master. So they go like Tasmat, Guru Padashray Tasmat, Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam, Vishrambhena Gurur Seva, Sadhu Vartmanu Vartanam, Sadharma Prucha. Like that, those items they go in. First 4 or 5 items are related to spiritual master, because it is explained by Srila Rupa Goswami that by taking shelter, Guru Padashray Tasmat, by taking shelter of a spiritual master, the doors are open to performing all the remaining 64 items of devotional service. So Guru Padashray is very, very important. Then taking Diksha from the Guru and continuous basis Shiksha, that's also very, very vital. Continuous Shiksha from the spiritual master, either Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru. And then Vishrambhena Gurur Seva, performing devotional service or serving the Guru and his mission is very, very critical for our progress. Sadharma Prucha, Sadhu Vartaman, following other devotees on this path, Mahajanayana Gata Sapantha, and also Sadharma Prucha, inquiring from the spiritual master. Whenever you get a chance, ask questions, make an inquiry and get the answer, solve your doubts, and that's how you progress. Yasya prasadat Bhagavat prasado. Because spiritual master is representative of Krishna. Krishna is not able to present in front of us right now, but he's present. Acharya Mam Vijaniyam. In the 11th canto, Krishna says to Uddhava, Acharya Mam Vijaniyam means Acharya. Here it is said Acharya Upasanam. Spiritual master is me. He's not different. Okay, that's a big topic, but that's how we have to understand and take spiritual master so seriously. And then yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado. We know that. Fine. Okay. Next two, 7 and 8. Saucham and Sthairyam. Who was that?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It's me.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji, wherever I go wrong, please correct me.
Yes.
So, about cleanliness, so it comes under Sattva Gun. And Prabhupada always emphasized that one should not only be cleaned externally, but internally also one should be clean. So, we saw this example of Srila Prabhupada when he was there. And he taught hippies like externally also that one should be clean, and how internally also. So how can we clean externally? By taking bath nicely, and then we can take care of the body. And internally is like, as we have taken birth from millions of lifetime, and we are contaminated with lots of dust is there in the mind. So for that cleanliness, we should chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, so that it will clean ourselves. So as we can see, there are many gurus which they will be externally very much mundane gurus. They will be externally very clean, but internally their heart is not purified. So if we can see, it will not reflect on the other people who are listening, because and we can see Srila Prabhupada was following, he was externally clean and internally as well. So we can see how the world has been changed. So this is a very important factor about cleanliness. And the next is steadiness. So we should be steady in the path of devotional service. As it is said that even if we want to score in our 10th standard, we study steadily a whole year, and then we score nicely. Similarly, in the path of devotional service, someone says like this, at the age of 60, I will chant Budhape mein. But what is the result? They will not actually achieve. But steadily, we can offer that fresh flower to the Lord, not the bad flower or other thing. So steadiness is very important in the path of devotional service. As we can see the example of Prahlad Maharaj, even though he has so many difficulties given by his father, still he was steady in the path of devotional service, and at the end himself Lord come to save him, and he has achieved the life of the goal of his life, that Krishna Prem, and then he himself, Krishna, has arrived there to save him. Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Okay. Anybody has any questions on Saucham and Sthairyam, or even the earlier items, Acharya Upasanam and Arjavam? Anybody has any questions, doubts? Anything is not clear to you? You want to ask those devotees, or in general these questions? No? Yes, Dipali Mataji.
Prabhu, I don't have any question, but I forgot to share one pastime about humility. So can I do now or later?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay. So this pastime is of Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Actually, His Grace Pranavananda Prabhu said in his lecture that in Yatra just now in last year, when the driver and Pranavananda Prabhu and Maharaj, they were together and they visited many places. And at one time, when the time was to visit Sakshi Gopinath temple, so time was very minimum, and Maharaj has to give class at Bhubaneswar temple. So Maharaj was like, I want to reach there at 7:50 anyhow. And that driver Prabhu has so much, actually, guts. Prabhu said that he was so sure that Maharaj, anyhow, I will tell you, but I will take you there, but first take darshan of Sakshi Gopal. And then he took car somehow, and Maharaj took darshan. There was very beautiful of Maharaj, because he was not allowed in the temple, so he took darshan from outside the temple, like ऐसे टंग के दर्शन दिया 15 minutes तक. And after everything winded up, then that driver Prabhu with Pranavananda Prabhu and Maharaj, three were together on the airport to Maharaj ji को छोड़ने के लिए गए थे airport पर. So at that time, the driver said to Maharaj that, thank you so much, Maharaj. Whatever I did was just because of your mercy. And in the reply, Maharaj said him that, Prabhu, your service has melted the hard heart like me, like mine. So it, Prabhu said that there was so much humility in his words that we both started to cry. Means the driver and Pranam, both of them. At that time, he made a point that Maharaj doesn't speak anything like just speak, but he mean that whatever he speak, he mean that, and that shows the humility through his character. And similar from Srila Prabhupada also, and other his disciples.
Yes, okay. So that was an pastime of showing humility, true humility or genuine humility. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Where were we? Yes. Next one. Who's next one? I
Myself,
think, do we
Prabhuji.
have, okay, Prerna Mataji, do we have time? You are going to present Atma Vinigraha and Indriyartheshu Vairagyam.
No,
Correct?
no. Yes, mine is false ego and Janma Mrityu.
Okay. Okay, so then you are, then there must be a devotee before that.
Yes, yes. I do.
Yes, I'm here, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, you will be able to make it in 2 minutes. Now we have time is about over, or you would like to make it next time?
What do you say, Prabhuji?
Very humble. Okay. So maybe you can make it next time. So anybody has any questions, whatever we discussed? This Thairyam, Saucham was quite clear. Thairyam is actually, which is the devotee comes to your mind? Because Thairyam talks about the steadiness, or our devotional life is always like a sinusoidal wave, right? Sometimes we are high, sometimes we are low. We are not steady actually. So we are not determined sometimes. So we read Bhagavatam, which is the example comes for determination. It is said devotee means devotee with determination, to be steady in the devotional service. So Dhruva Maharaj is a famous example, right? Only 5-year-old boy, what a determination he had. And the same pious determination was shown by our Srila Prabhupada also. Okay. So fine. So how many items we covered? Humility, Amanitvam, Adhammitvam, Ahimsa. Ahimsa we did not go. Shantir we did not go. Arjavam, Acharyopasam. Shaucham and Stharyam only. Okay. Fine. So next time we'll start with, I hope you will remember. Arun Prabhu, can you just, is it possible, in the group, you can just note down who is doing what item so that, we again next time don't start with who's doing what. Let's say somebody who is absent next time. Tomorrow, we'll not be stuck with that. I will cover those items and we'll go ahead. So is it possible for you to take those items? Have you noted down from the chat those 20 items, or can you do that from the translation also?
The chat is available with me now also. I can just take screenshot.
Yeah.
But what exactly I need to do, I didn't understand. Like, because devotees can message what all they have presented, or which topic did they get today.
Yes.
We'll get 10 to 10, 11 messages in the group, and it will be clear.
Yes, you can do that. So Dipali Mataji presented first 2 items. Then Anuradha Mataji could not present the next 2 items. Sundari Palika Mataji presented this next 2 items, and Isha Mataji. These 3 devotees only presented, and we have completed into first 8 items. I mean, Anuradha Mataji's 2 items. So all others, starting with Madhav Harinam Prabhu, you can note down who's going to present what items, so that tomorrow we don't have to start who's doing what. We already know who's doing what, and whosoever is present, we'll start with them and we'll go ahead from there. Is this clear, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine. So we'll stop here. Anybody has any questions or any clarification you need? Those who wish to go, they can go. If anybody has any questions or doubts, or you want to add some more or share some pastimes, you can share that with the class or with me. Otherwise, we'll stop here if there are no questions, no comments.
In steadiness, Prabhuji, I was thinking, as when you asked example, like His Grace Radhesham Prabhuji himself is holding Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Like many devotees have glorified him in his glorification, that he had served as GBC for almost 50 years. Many has came and gone, but he was steady in that position, and also his deity worship in both the things. Similarly, we see Radhesham Prabhuji, and many people many devotees glorify him for his strict morning program and the way he is preaching or engaged in preaching throughout the world. So like they are glorious examples in front of us, whom we were seeing and we can see around us. In NVCC, we see Radhesham Prabhuji. Maharaj was visiting everywhere. So this example came to my mind.
Yeah, it's a very nice examples. Yes, we need also not only from Bhagavatam, but we also need contemporary examples, the living examples in front of us. And these are very two shining examples. Maharaj was, you must have seen that video where, even in his sleep, he is, rotating hands like this and, doing deity worship like that. So it is said in our service, we recently got Brahman initiation, many devotees. So we are so much tired, in service, in while the worshipping, we may sleep also. But in his sleep also, he was actually worshipping. And many devotees, they were mentioning how 1968 he came to Srila Prabhupada in Montreal, and how he started, and later on he was appointed GBC here in India 1975, and how it was a humble beginning, and it was small temple, small center, BBT in charge he was made, and from there what heights is gone, and how many temples in Delhi alone, 1920 temples there, and how number of devotees, and his main quality was also his service to Srila Prabhupada. He was so steadfast in his service to Srila Prabhupada, and he never ever gave up that. And also the serving his deities. He said, it's my only property is what? My deities. They should not be given to anybody, but they should be worshipped in temple. So thank you for reminding those nice examples of Radhesham Prabhuji and Maharaj Arun Prabhu. So we'll stop here then. If any other comments are not there. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद जी की जय, उपस्थित गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.